So a lot of Arabs out in Egypt have been having an issue with Netflix because Netflix and Jada Pinkett Smith have produced a movie about Cleopatra. They was upset because Cleopatra is a black woman. Oh, they are very upset, and they've been going to everybody's TikTok crying and complaining. Case in point, our sister going to kind of touch on this. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
I absolutely think it's crazy that the very last people that conquered Egypt think they created Egypt. I think that is complete insanity. The Romans don't think they created Egypt. They know they colonized it. The Greeks, no, they did not create Egypt. They know they colonized it. Somehow, the Arabs think 600 years ago, you created Egypt. The pyramids are 26,000 years old. That's what they think. They think the Sphinx is 7,000 years old. The math ain't mathing, okay? It just ain't adding up.
Now let's talk about history here. Do you know some of these Arabs in Egypt have been saying that black people are trying to culturally appropriate our culture? What? Oh, you're blackwashing history. Now, Egypt is in the continent of Africa now. That's where Egypt is at. And these people are trying to say black people are blackwashing African history? It's so funny. But let's talk about Cleopatra for a minute. So it is stated that Cleopatra was born in January 69 BC. She died in August 30 BC. Now make sure that you remember those dates. The Egyptian Empire themselves, people have been going to Egypt ever since 6000 BC. It really established themselves in 3100 BC. Now, when was the Arab invasion of Egypt? 639 AD. Cleopatra lived way before the invasion of the Arabs in 639 AD. Black folks was in Africa. Black folks was running a lot of kingdoms in their own homeland. If anybody trying to take history, it's the Arabs. Why are you trying to steal our history? Netflix was right. Cleopatra was a black woman. But I also want to pay attention to something. Why do you have a problem with the black woman playing Cleopatra because you stole black people's history, but you never had a problem with Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra, a white woman? Why you never had a problem with that? Why you never told white people about whitewashing your history? You didn't say a thing about that. But the moment that a black woman played Cleopatra, because Cleopatra was a black woman, you had an issue and a problem. Egypt is not your country. You are an invader. You are a colonizer. This is why people talk about the racism that you have brought to North Africa, places like Tunisia and all other places that you're at. I always say, if you don't like black folks, go over there to the Middle East where your people are at and live there and be married. Tunisia didn't even want to say there was an African country during the World Cup. But don't let these people try to lie to you about Cleopatra was them. They're not them. They didn't even come down to the African continent in 639 AD. So please.
That the very last people that conquered Egypt think they created Egypt. I think that is complete insanity. The Romans don't think they created Egypt. They know they colonized it. The Greeks, no, they did not create Egypt. They know they colonized it.
Don't let them people lie. Like, would you have nothing else to hold on to? You trying to steal our history as black people? This is black history, completely. African history. Netflix did the right thing by putting this out. And black folks should go watch it. Just because they're mad about it. They're crying and complaining all over TikTok about this. You can go be happy about other things in your own history. But if you want to talk about your history, let's talk about the transatlantic slave trade. Let's talk about your role in the slave trade. How the white man got the gain from y'all. Let's talk about that. See, black folks don't talk about that enough. Y'all talking about reparations. A lot of African nations need to be getting reparations from the Arab countries too. It's just not the white one now. It's some Arabs too. Black folks let Arabs get away with a lot of their racism. They call black people abid, which means slave. Black folks go over there to work in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and all these different places. And look what they do to Africans. If we want to talk about something, let's talk about your treatment of black folk in 2023. How many black people went over there to work in your house, took their passports, and done all kind of abuse to them. End up unaliving a lot of them. Let's talk about that relationship. Not stealing African history. But let me know what y'all think about this. Because like I said, everybody's trying to always colonize what's black folks stuff. We are living in the age of knowledge. Them people did not even exist down there in Egypt around that time. Remember, Cleopatra lived in BC times. The pharaohs who were black were in the BC times. That's why the white supremacists shot their noses off. Because they didn't want them they loved what they saw. They couldn't stand those black people they were looking at. Understand? So let them be mad. Let them eat cake too. You got your own history. Don't be trying to steal ours.